You might begin by gently finding your way towards your back, laying flat on the back with the feet side by side, so ankles and big toes touching. No need to squeeze together, but the idea here is the knees are just within hips width apart, but they're not squeezing together, they're not going wider. And this particular shape is going to help release the vagus nerve. All the tension that is stored there as the information from all of our organs makes its way up into the brain. And you may feel that tension as shaking. So the invitation here is to just witness it, not do anything. There's no need to control anything. The mind may feel a little frustrated in this idea of stillness. And it also may feel frustrated if there is shaking. So just allow the weight of the torso and the arms and the back of the head to gently be supported by the surface you're resting on. You may notice that your mind may kick into a pattern of breathing to try to control this. For this next minute at least, let's allow the whole body and breathing to rest. So there's no work that you need to do here. There's no force needed. And throughout the whole time here, you may start to feel the way the spine settles a little bit more. You may notice some arching or arcing in the spine. All of that work is not necessary in the moment. Just letting gravity do the work here for you. Check your jaw. Notice if there's any holding or clenching. And you may feel the shake, if there is some, in the legs kind of engage or disengage. Sometimes you'll even feel this shake down around the base of the glutes. And so in this next few moments, maybe after 3 rounds of breath, you might start to invite Ujjayi in through the nose and out through the nose. Remember, if you have a deviated septum, you'll breathe through the mouth. But it never hurts to try a couple of rounds of breath with the nose. We get more oxygen absorption through the longer passageways when we breathe through the nose. So the invitation is to try, even if there is a deviated septum, to start to kind of open that space over time. And then from here, we'll slowly wiggle the feet wider than the hips. You might start to gently rock your knees from side to side, this soft swaying. You might find your core as a way to engage the movement from the core outward. And when you're ready, we'll send the knees gently to the right and allow the whole package of the legs to drop to the right. Maybe that left arm comes out wide like an airplane, or anywhere it feels good. So the invitation is to try it out. Feel what feels good here. You might turn the chin gently to the right shoulder, and that allows all of that space to come into the left side of the neck, where the vagus nerve innervates up into the brainstem. Let the breath be big into the rib cage, and sometimes it feels nice to kind of get in and start to massage underneath the lower ribs. And feel that out. Feel where you notice the breath really inflating through the space, and maybe even through the tightness that happens in between the rib cage, in between the ribs, the intercostal muscles. And then we'll firm the core and gently roll back onto the back. You might realign the spine. We get a little cattywampus sometimes, and then send the knees gently to the left. And the chin turns down towards that left shoulder. The belly is soft. The right arm goes over the head or maybe out to the side. Just feel what feels best in your body. And again, the breath is big. Really work the movement of the rib cage. Each inhale expanding the rib cage. Each exhale softening. Letting gravity do the work from there. And you can always add some more engagement if that right hip is feeling good. You could hook the left ankle onto the right knee, or opposite. If that right hip joint is cranky, maybe you point that right knee up to the ceiling. So please don't add tension into the sympathetic nervous system. If anything, we're working, but we're also turning it down into more parasympathetic nervous system. One more breath here. And we'll firm the core and gently roll back onto the back. Realign the spine. And then we'll draw that right thigh gently towards the right shoulder. Check that that knee is staying in line with the hip and the shoulder. Draw the strength through the arms. And maybe if it feels good, that left leg can go down. And you can flex that left foot, drawing the shoulders back towards the ground, massaging gently here into the ascending colon. Maybe there's a little bit of rocking from side to side. And if this is your cranky hip, please don't grind into it. Just let the leg be heavy. Let your arms do all the work here as you work this right hip gently. Take a big inhale here. And on the exhale, we'll bend that left foot, kick the right leg up towards the ceiling, roll the ankle around a couple of times, getting the snap, crackle, pops out of the way, change directions. Good, and then we'll flex that right foot, bring the right ankle to the left knee. An option to start, we might come up on the ball of the left foot. If you have blocks, you might put a block underneath that left foot. If it feels good, you can start to draw that left thigh towards the left shoulder. Watch how that knee is going to try to come to the center line to make it easier on that right glute. And we'll draw this left thigh gently towards the left shoulder. So I'm flexing my right foot, even spreading out the toes if you want to. Broadening across the collarbones. Letting the jaw settle. Even checking the eyes. If the eyes are closed in your practice, that's okay. If that helps soothe the experience internally and externally, then I'm all for it. Broaden across the collarbones, let your jaw be soft. Keep working your breath. And on the next exhale, we'll take both legs up towards the ceiling. Shake them out. Just shake them out. Let them shake around. Feel good along the hammies. We'll move into the hammies next in a minute. And then we'll release that right foot back to the ground. Keep the knee bent for the time being. Left leg can draw towards the left shoulder. Broaden across the collarbones. Elongate through the spine. And it's always good if you notice any tension through the shoulders and the neck. Maybe a little bit of movement. Some days those traps really hold everything. And if it feels good, that right leg could go long to get a bit of more work through The hip flexor and the quad on that right side, arms doing the work. Let your left leg be heavy. That'll help release all the connective tissue around the joint. Face is soft, jaw is easy. And then we'll bend this right knee again, bring the right foot to the floor. Flex that left foot, left ankle to the right knee. And some days this is enough. Some days this just feels like a lot of engagement in that left glute. You might slide that right foot back a wee bit, come up on the ball of the foot, see if that works. And if you can, you might draw that right thigh towards the right shoulder, clasping around the hamstring. And that spine is long, broaden across the collarbones. Keep that left foot flexed. That protects the knee. Soften your jaw, soften your face. And allow the breath to really move in to create the space. And as we find in our practice, space in the body is where we find comfort. Ultimately, in our practice of breath work and meditation, when we find space in the mind, that's where we create ease. And so we move in our practice back and forth in this dance between comfort and ease. Doesn't mean we're not going to work though. Broaden across the collarbones. Last breath here. And when you're ready, we'll release the legs back up towards the ceiling. Shake them out again. Good. And then we'll draw the knees towards the chest and either clasping hands. You could have the knees close together or they could be apart, whatever feels best for you. And we can draw the shoulders back down, press the spine flat, especially if the knees are apart. Notice if that lower back is on the ground. Maybe the lower ribs are reaching up, and that's just a natural way for the body to get into this shape. Try to press everything back down, and then with the lower ribs pulling back into the posture, you can broaden across the collarbones, snuggling in the legs. Again, this little sequence, great for your digestive and excretory systems. And sometimes if there's been injury or strain in the body, we may be on meds, and it's really important to keep the digestive and excretory system balanced. So some of those meds may bind you up, and this is a great little sequence to open it all back up again. So from here, we can release the legs, bring the feet wide as the mat, let your knees gently fall towards each other. And this can release the lower back. It's a nice way to rest in your practice or anytime you get the opportunity, because it helps settle the muscles of the belly, helps release the tension through the back. And the breath is nice and smooth here. When in doubt, come back into smoothing out your breath. Most important thing, all the body stuff is secondary. And from here, we can either roll to one side or roll up to a seated position. And we'll make our way onto hands and knees and start to find a little bit of work into cat-cow. So hands are rooted, shoulder width apart, belly is pulled in, nice and firm. Inhale, drop the lower ribs, tilt the tailbone, eyes can go forward or up if the neck allows. Exhale, round your spine up to the ceiling. We'll do this about 5 or 6 more times. I like to squeeze the pads of my fingers to the mat. It really helps protect the wrist joints. And at any point, if this is too much into your wrists, you could come onto the knuckles, do the same work there, or you could even come down onto the forearms and find your movement from there. Again, most important thing is working with what feels best in your body, so we're not adding stress and tension we're able to release it. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath in cat-cow. And when you're ready, we'll make our way back to a neutral spine. And inhale, slide that right leg back. You can lift the right leg if it feels good. Balance the hips, squeeze that right quad, and then we'll bend the right knee and swing the right foot towards the right hand. If you have blocks, you might want to use them, or you can bring your hands gently onto that right knee and lengthen up through the spine. You might slide that foot back a little bit more so we're in more of a 90-90 here. Dig down into that right foot. I'm really pushing my foot down so I'm feeling the work in the right quad, and the arms can gently come up towards the ceiling. If that's crazy in the shoulders, bend the elbows, or you could even have your elbows bent, palms up, and squeeze your elbows back towards each other. Thumbs draw back even further. That opens up across the pecs, across the upper chest. Big inhale here. I'm rooting that left shin down, pressing that right foot down. Take a big inhale here. And on an exhale, release the hands gently, wriggle the right foot forward. And on the exhale, we can send the hips back. And we'll go back and forth 8 to 10 times here. So smooth and easy. Allow the tension in the hamstring to unfold. Hamstrings are one of those muscles that really give us a good clue about what's going on in the body. And ultimately in this little flow, we get all the muscles of the back line, literally from the sole of your foot through the Achilles tendon, the calf muscle, hamstring, glute, lower middle, upper back. So much, so much. So take your time. Let your breath guide you through. And you might start to get longer through your spine, so we're creating that length as much as we can. Again, if the neck is cranky, keep it neutral. And we'll take one more full round of breath here. And on the exhale, settle in. If you have your blocks, bring them forward with you so you have that support. If not, you might micro bend this knee a little bit, that right knee, and fire up the right quad. Send the tailbone back and the belly and heart forward. Get long through your spine, and it may feel good to turn the chin, shoulder to shoulder, finding some space through the traps, through the back of the neck. Keep your breath smooth and easy. When you're ready, we'll bring the chin back to center. Get long through the spine one more time, and then we'll slide that right foot back. Deep lunge forward. Inhale, the hands can come onto the right knee. Lift up tall through the spine. And this left arm is going to drop down. Palm can flip upward to open up across that left shoulder. And lift up through the spine. If it feels good, maybe that left arm comes up with you. And on an exhale, we arc over that right hip. So press into your left shin. That helps get further through the left quad, the left hip flexor, the whole left side of the spine. Reach with that left arm. Remember, if the left arm is cranky, hook that left hand onto the right shoulder, and you might even let your neck release a bit. Big inhale here. There's a lot of work to the center line to hold this steady. And then inhale, we'll slowly bring ourselves all the way back up. You might bring this left hand to the inner right knee and create some isometric engagement. Squeeze the knee to the hand to the knee, get tall through the spine. Right arm could draw back behind you. Stay rooted, but lift up through the spine. Maybe this right elbow bends, chin can turn. If the balance feels wonky, turn your chin back to center. Last big inhale wherever you are. And on an exhale, we slowly release the hands down. Slide that right leg back behind you. Get long through your spine. And we'll take those right toes gently off the left edge of your mat. Reach the spine forward, shoulders back. You might look over that left shoulder and pull in through the belly. Chin towards the left shoulder. Opening up that whole right side now. Down through the psoas. Keep track of the torso. Sometimes we'll lean to the left to make it easier. Try to stay to the center. And we'll float that right leg up nice and long behind us. And release the right leg back down. Cat-cow 3 times. Allow your spine to really open. Take your time. Don't force it. It's nice to warm it up. Cat-cow is one of those movements that we should do as often as we think about it. I like to do it first thing in the morning. Helps open up all those places that feel like they may have rested overnight. And we'll gently make our way back to center and move to the left leg. Left leg goes back. Balance through the shoulders. So there's a lot of work, even just holding here. Dropping that left hip a little bit in line with the right. Belly pulls in. And on an exhale, we'll swing the left foot forward towards the left hand. And bring your hands up onto that left knee. Settle the shoulder blades down, squeeze down into the roots, come up through the groin, the belly, and the chest. And take a big inhale here. Arms can float up, or you could either hook the fingers, the pinky fingers, underneath the back of the occipital ridge of the skull and lift up through the chest. Or you could emulate what you did on the other side. Maybe the hands are lower elbows against the torso, thumbs pulling back, or anything that feels good in this gentle but elongated back bend. Big inhale here. And on an exhale, we'll release the hands down, wriggle that left foot forward, flex the foot, pull back on the toes, and we exhale, start to go back. And it's a bummer. We have to start all over again on this side. Big inhale. And so the invitation is to be in the experience just as it shows up for you. And know that halfway through this, that left hamstring will start to feel a little different. And especially if this is your tight side, go easy. Let it unfold. Forcing it is just going to hurt it. And you may even find over time that you slow your exhale down just a little bit more. So there's more marination time, but that also then allows you to lengthen your inhale. What can start to lengthen in the spine? Can you make a more elongated spine through the whole thing, through the whole flow? Maybe this left knee is not bent. Maybe it's totally bent. What do you need to feel as long through your spine as possible without causing more tension, without causing greater frustration? If you bump into frustration, thank it. It's a really interesting time to experience. But it doesn't make us shy away from the whole experience. Inhale, last round here, and we'll marinate for a bit in that left hamstring. So belly pulls in, spine goes long. Find what you need. Maybe you're in Hasta Bandha, the finger pads on the ground. Make sure you're not being harsh into those knuckles. Tailbone goes back. Really flex that left foot, spread out through the toes. Maybe you turn your chin, shoulder to shoulder. What feels best here for you? And we'll settle back into the center. Slide that left foot back a wee bit. Deep lunge here. Find your roots. Hands can come onto that left thigh. And we'll bring the right arm up nice and steady. Take a big inhale. And on an exhale, we gently glide over that left side. So we're opening up the right side of the rib cage, pressing down through the right shin. Spine is tall and lifted. Big inhale here. And when you're ready, we'll inhale, come all the way up. This right arm swings forward and presses into the inside of that left knee. So that isometric engagement, come up through the groin, the belly, and the chest. And you might spin these right lower ribs around the axis of the spine. You might look over that left shoulder, palm can flip up. Or maybe you keep your chin gently in line with the throat. Big inhale here. And on an exhale, we'll release the hands down. Slide that left leg back. Left toes off the right side of your mat. We'll look over that right shoulder. And reach back through that left heel. Big inhale. Elongate through your breath, opening up that whole left side, psoas, vagus nerve. We'll float the left leg back up behind us and release the left knee back down. Toes can come together. Maybe the knees widen as we wander our way down towards child's pose. Forehead to the mat. Breath is deep here. And find what's most delicious for your arms. Maybe one arm is forward, one arm is back. Both arms, you could turn your head. What is most comfortable for you here? And we'll take about 3 more rounds of breath. At the end of this next exhale, we'll slowly move back up to bring the knees towards each other. And from here, you might walk your hands gently over to the right. And I'm pressing down through my left hand on top of the right, just getting this long line out of the left lat, the left shoulder. Please bend that left elbow if it's cranky. Keeping your breath smooth and easy. Sending the tailbone gently back and a bit more engagement forward and to the right with that left hand. Breathe into your rib cage. Open up the chest as much as possible. And we'll slowly lift the head a little and slide that left arm underneath the right underarm. So my left palm is facing the ceiling, and I'm dropping my forehead towards the mat. If you want, you could even walk that right hand back to center and kind of creep it forward to the front edge of your mat as you reach the left arm to the right and the tailbone back. And really breathe into the rib cage. Try to pull your breath up just a little bit more. And then we'll slide that right hand back gently. Press down into your right hand. Lift your chest. And we'll slide the hands forward. Get long out of your child's pose. You might, if you need to, you could come back up on the knees. Stretch the hips out just a little bit and take it back. And we'll walk the hands over to the left now. And maybe that right hand comes across to the top of your left hand. Good. Keeping your breath smooth and easy. Breathe into that right side. Really open the right underarm. You can always wiggle the hands to the left a little bit more Tail is gently pressing back. Right hand is working itself down a little bit more as the space around the right shoulder and underarm opens up. Let your inhale really fill the body. Last breath here. And we'll walk the hands back to center. Slide that right arm underneath, palm faces the ceiling. Let your left arm walk away and forward, away from you. Tailbone presses back. So we've got lots of different things happening. The torso weight is dropping into that right shoulder. But again, make sure you're not grinding your molars or clenching your face to make it happen. Or even your hands. All these little habit places of tension are really great information to garner during our practice. And we harness those places when it's time to rest. We notice the places that are overworking or holding or have their tension pattern exhibited, and so we invite them to soften. And then from here, we'll slide that left hand back under and slowly press down through the hands and draw ourselves back up. You may be able to see it. There's a little deer that's been walking by. He's walking off into the forest. Super sweet. So we'll inhale, come up through the length of the spine. We can hook the thumbs onto the hips, and on an exhale, slowly draw forward again, just like we're going into child's pose, but we're going to press the hands down. Belly pulls in and roll up through cat. Press the spine nice and round up to the ceiling. The head is going to be the last to land. So we go thighs, hips, belly button, palms underneath the forehead, and we totally rest here. Big full round of breath. Inhale and exhale. And we'll strengthen the legs, press the pelvis down. Hands slide under the shoulders, but we don't use them. Arch the chest upward. And then on your exhale, express whatever feels best to you. We round back up through cat. Toes can come back towards each other. And from the back of your spine, pull yourself all the way back up. Hands can come to behind you or to the sides as we arch the chest up. Big inhale. And we'll exhale, hook the thumbs, and once again, lay the torso down. Arms reach forward. Round up through the spine. And gently pull your belly button forward as much as you can as you extend out. You might feel that you've kind of inchwormed forward on your mat. Rest here. And from here, we'll take the right arm out wide like an airplane and slowly roll onto the right shoulder. So my right palm is flat on the ground behind me. Press your heels away from you. Be really firm in the pressure of the heels away. That's going to help take care of the lower back. If it feels good, that left knee could bend and you could have the left foot just behind the right knee. And breathe here. If you need the support so you don't feel like you're going to fall forward, keep your left hand in front of you. If not, you might walk that left arm way over your head and extend the length of the spine from right heel to left arm way out. Big inhale across the chest. And slowly all the way back down. Left leg down, roll back onto the belly. You might reach the crown of the head forward a little bit more, and then we'll take that left arm out in line with the shoulder. Float onto that left side. Make sure the shoulder feels supported, and you might bend that right knee. My left leg is really pressing away to protect the lower back. And root that right foot down gently. That right arm can either go out, up, in front, maybe even over the head. Take a huge inhale. All the breath back out. Try to keep that palm flat as we extend out through the crown of the head. Take a big inhale. And we'll slide that right arm back, right leg down, all the way back onto the belly. Bring your palms under the forehead, toes touch, heels flop open, and rest here for a breath. Smooth and easy with your breath. And from here, we'll engage the spine a little bit more. So point the toes, really press the legs firmly into the ground, and the pelvis pushes down as well. Palms can start underneath the shoulders, chin or forehead can come to the mat, whatever feels best here. So we'll start without any work in the arms. Rest your left leg completely. Right leg stays strong. We'll float the right leg up. Press the hip bone down so that we're getting that support. Left leg on vacation, right leg reaching back. And release the right leg back down. Right leg is on vacation, left leg fires up. Float your left leg up and back. Reach the left toes back as far as you can and release the left leg back down. Now we'll add the arms. So take the arms forward. So we're going to lift the right arm and the left leg. Chest might come to. I'm not using anything else but right arm, left leg. And release it back down. And we'll get into a little rhythm here. Inhale, left arm, right leg. And everything down. Right and left leg again. Right arm, left leg. And down. Next one is going to be left arm, right leg, inhaling. And exhaling. One more each side. Right arm, left leg. Working this opposites through the spine. And release. Left arm, right leg. And slowly release it back down. You might turn your chin gently down to the right shoulder, elongating through the back side of the left neck, left side of the neck. And breathe here. Allow the body to soften, especially up across the traps, across the back of the neck. And then from here, we'll bring the chin forward. You might bend your knees and reach back and grab for the heels or the ankles. If grabbing doesn't work, grab a strap or a necktie and you can kind of use that. If you're not grabbing the ankles, you can do the same thing from here with the knees bent. Even though I'm not reaching for my heels, I can still do all the work. So we'll start by pressing the hips down. I'm pulling my belly button in because we can cheat with the belly button on this one. And I'm arching the chest forward. Shoulders can pull back. If you're holding on to your ankles, kick your legs up and back and allow the chest to reach forward. If not, with the neck up, you might let it go down. That feels really good on the traps. One more big inhale. And lower. Gently release. We'll come back to toes touching. Turning the chin now gently to the left shoulder. And the cicadas really want to help too. That was nice of them to rest. Big inhale across the chest. All your breath back out. Let's do one more back bend. So we'll bend the knees, reach back, grab onto the heels. If you're not grabbing for your heels, again, same idea. You can keep the thighs rooting down and everything else can lift. If you're kicking the legs, you might want to try to bring the toes to touch as much as you can to keep the knees from widening too far. It's really hard to talk calmly in this one. Eyes can go up, legs can kick. Reach your chest forward and slowly, gently release. We'll bring the palms on top of each other, forehead to the hands, and breathe here. Smooth and easy. And then from here, we'll slide the palms under the shoulders, press down into the hands, arch your chest gently, and we'll rock back onto the knees, and bring our knees and then feet forward. And I'm gonna spin and face you. And from here, we'll start by getting some good length out of the hammies again. Walk your hips back a little bit so there's some support of the sitting bones. Feel really rooted between the sitting bones. And from here, we'll draw that right knee in, and I'm floating that right foot off the ground, drawing the shoulder blades down. Couple options here. What you might want to try is flexing that right foot, bringing it above the left knee. So my ankle is just off the corner of my knee so I don't poke into it. If this is too much in that knee, maybe you have a block supporting it wherever it needs to be, however high it needs to be. Or it might be more comfortable with the sole of your foot to the inside of the calf or the knee. Whatever feels best for you. I'll show you with this version. And so from here, we're extending. I'm pushing down into my arms to keep my chest lifted. You might drop the chin, maybe get some stretching side to side. We'll do a little bit more neck in a minute. Inhale, tall spine. And then on an exhale, I'm tilting forward. I'm not rounding forward, I'm tilting forward. So I'm thinking about pressing my tailbone back, my left heel, forward. And some of you may find that you can bring the hands forward too. You might kind of walk your hands down. Some of you might grab around the toes or the foot. And if it feels good, that left hand can bind the right wrist and draw the chest forward. Press down through that left thigh bone. Get long through your spine. Big inhale. All your breath back out. We'll take 3 more rounds of breath here. And when you're ready, slowly release. Now try to keep your spine long here. I'm extending my belly button forward, and then coming all the way up. We'll bring that right hand to the ankle or to the heel. Get tall through the spine, lift up through the groin, the belly, and the chest. Be mindful if your neck is cranky, keep your chin in line with your throat. And we'll slowly spin around the axis of the spine. Shoulders softly down, chest is lifted. Roll the spine gently. Those right lower ribs are spinning around the axis of the spine. Big inhale. All your breath back out on the exhale. And we revolve back to center gently. Good. And we'll find the other side. Draw that right leg in, tall spine, and we'll kick that right leg out. Same idea on the other side. Now, if you need to, you've got blocks. You could use a pillow off the couch or your bed, whatever you need here to make this happen. I'm keeping this right quad fired up so that I'm not digging into my ankle bone into the quad. Again, hands start behind you. Get really tall. Sometimes a good wiggle to kind of check into the sitting bones, make sure they're rooted and solidly rooting down as the groin, the belly, and the chest come up. Really lift up. Keep that lift. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, all the bandhas. And then if it feels good, we tilt forward. Tailbone pressing back, heart pressing forward. You might even think about the lower ribs reaching towards that right big toe. And maybe the hands walk forward. Maybe you clasp or walk your way down the leg. Other leg, totally different experience. So be mindful, be present with the experience as it is. Settle your jaw, soften your face. Keep these right toes flexed out, left toes too. And if you want, that right hand can bind around and clasp the left wrist. Breathe deeply here. Last few rounds of breath, see if you can smooth out that exhale as deeply as possible. And as you're ready, we'll slowly come back up. Keep the spine long. Keep the length you created. And once you've come back up to center, this left hand comes across to the left heel. Drill for oil with your tailbone. Really booty wiggle it out. Make sure that you are dead center of the tailbone and lift, everything lifts up from there. Big inhale. You can use this left hand to draw those left lower ribs around the axis of the spine. Inhale, get taller. Exhale, spin. One more, inhale, tall. Exhale, spin it around. And inhale, slowly back to center. Good. So from here, you might draw the soles of the feet together, but instead of pulling the heels towards you, push them away a little bit. Make a kind of a broader diamond shape here. And we'll, again, booty wiggle it out. Make sure that your sitting bones are rooted. Drill for oil, lift up through the groin, the belly, and the chest. And draw your belly button forward. Now again, remember, if you've got blankets or pillows or blocks and you need that support, tuck them under. It feels really, really nice here to do that. Get long through the back of your neck. Big inhale across the chest. And you might walk those hands forward a little bit. Drop your head if it feels good. Completely up to you what feels good. If the breath is smooth and easy and the body feels good, that sounds good. But if you're grinding your molars to do it, that might be a sign that you are in too deep. So back out. Allow yourself to feel good. That is a beautiful awareness in our practice. Sometimes we push so hard that we're not even enjoying a smidgen of it. And the nervous system needs that sense of enjoyment. Biggest inhale into the back of your lungs yet. And on your exhale, slowly, with a straight spine, we'll slowly bring ourselves all the way back up. Good. From here, we'll make our way to the back. If you have anything that you like for your rest, namely a bolster, blankets, pets, grab them now. And if your back is feeling a little cranky, you might take the feet wide and let the knees fall towards each other. And start to notice the way the weight is settling in. If your arms drop off to the sides, just check into what needs to happen here. If it feels good to have the legs out long, then please do whatever is most comfortable. Or you might put blocks under the back of your knees or lower part of your upper leg, or over a bolster, or just flat on the ground. And the invitation here is to wiggle about, get as comfy as you need. And then notice. Notice how your body is resting here. You might allow attention to come even further inward to witness every morsel of the breath. You might feel where in your body you feel your breath the most. And you might gather up all of the sensations and sounds, flavors and smells from your experience in each moment here. And bring attention to how your body is resting. You may feel the support of the places where the back of your body are gently cradled by the mat and the floor below you. As sounds come and go, so do sensations, so do images and ideas, thoughts and emotions. If thinking mind at any point tries to wander off with any of the information it's witnessing, thank it. And then gently, tenderly invite yourself back here to resting. There's no work that you need to do. There's no force needed. The invitation is to gently soften, rest, and release. You might let the muscles of the eyes soften back and maybe check your inner gaze. Are you looking up towards the mind above horizon, or can you gently soften that inner gaze below horizon? And we'll take these next few minutes here to rest, to soften and release. If you want to stay longer in your practice, you might turn off the video now as we rest here for the next 3 minutes together here in silence. notice gently here how your body is resting. And you might very sweetly deepen your breath a few times. And maybe wiggle the fingers and the toes, arms and the legs. And when you're ready, just make your way comfortably to a seated position. If you'd like, you can bring hands gently to prayer position, thumbs at the breastbone, and thank yourself for showing up for your practice today. If you'd like, you can have thumbs at the forehead and a gentle reminder of clear thought. Thumbs back to the lips, and gentle reminder of right speech, both internally and externally. And thumbs gently back to the heart for pure heart. Namaste.